Irregular immigration has become a growing concern across Africa, with thousands of young people undertaking dangerous journeys in search of better economic opportunities, employment, and improved living conditions beyond their home countries. Across the continent, governments, employers, and labor organizations and development partners are increasingly concerned about the impact of irregular migration on workforce development, productivity, skills, retention, and long-term economic growth. The movement of skilled and unskilled workers affects labor supply, wage structures, investment in human capital, and the capacity of economies to meet their development opportunities. Today, we'll be discussing the economic impacts on irregular migration within the realities of African labor markets. And joining us in the studio is Mr. Olajide Afolabi, the Executive Secretary of the Employers Association of Private Sector Employment Agencies of Nigeria. Mr. Olajide Afolabi serves as Executive Secretary of the Employers Association for Private Employment Agencies of Nigeria, an organization committed to promoting ethical recruitment practices, labor market development, workforce mobility, and employment creation within Nigeria and across international labor markets. Through his work with employers, recruitment agencies, policymakers, labor institutions, and international stakeholders, he has contributed to discussions on labor migration, employment policies, workforce development, skills matching, and the creation of sustainable paths for distance work opportunities. With extensive experience in employment services and labor market administration, it remains actively engaged in efforts aimed at strengthening labor market systems, improving access to employment opportunities, and promoting responsible migration practices that support economic growth and human development. Good morning, Mr. Olajide Afolabi. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing amazing. It's good to have you here this morning.
It's my pleasure. Good morning, Nigeria.
So how would you define irregular migration and why has it become so significant and a significant issue in the country?
Well, first and foremost, let me appreciate Trade FM for bringing us to your studio this morning. Let me also appreciate our listeners and viewers across the globe for joining us this morning. For us, irregular migration is movement of people outside the legal and regulatory framework. When people move without documentation, when people overstay their visas, these are elements of irregular migration. When you overstay your visa, you become an irregular migrant. When you travel, when you move across borders without the required documentation, it's an irregular migration. And it has become significant because the number is increasing. Despite the efforts of the government, the private sector, and the general public, there's no much reduction in irregular migration. Rather, it's increasing, and that's very unfortunate. And we are concerned as an association. We are concerned that people are taking to irregular migration.
So what are some major economic factors driving this irregular migration?
We have to look at the pull and push factors. For instance, in Nigeria today, we are aware that we are still battling with high unemployment rate. We are still battling with underemployment. We are still battling with the issue of security, the issue of social protection, the issue of social dialogue, and so on and so forth. So all these factors are push factors that are, and don't forget that we have a very large population of unemployed youth. In fact, across the world, Africa has one of the unfortunate very high number of unemployed youth. So we are battling that in Nigeria, and it's a very serious issue.
So how do unemployment and underemployment in African labor markets contribute to the rising cost of migration?
Yes, we have this belief that when you leave the shore of your country, you get a better life. It's a perception, it's not really the reality. Yes, significantly we have seen people who have migrated, who are doing well, But we have also seen many who have migrated and not doing so well. We have seen so many young chaps in Nigeria here, and they are doing fantastically well. So sometimes perception is there. The thinking that when you leave the shore of the country, you get a better life.
You get that.
I guess there's something else happens, especially for those that lack the required skills, those that doesn't believe they can make headway in Nigeria. Often it's because of the skills that many people lack, and they feel that okay, if they travel abroad, even if it's menial job they are doing, they can earn a better wage than being in Nigeria. Then that's another factor that push people from to migration, especially regular migration, because when they look at what they earn here in Nigeria and they look at what they can possibly earn for the same service they are rendering here, so they tend to move.
So in what ways does irregular migration affect the productivity and growth of potential African?
I will give you a case study of some sectors. If you look at the healthcare sector today, we have very shortage number of healthcare workers in Nigeria. Not because we are not having graduates, not because we are not having the ends, but they are leaving. So it affects that sector. If you look at the engineering sector, we have many graduates who are engineers, but are they staying in Nigeria? The answer is no, because they are not getting commensurate value for their service. So, and that affects the productivity every year, because those best hands that should man our healthcare system, they have migrated. Those that can man our construction sector, where are they? Those that are expected to be in the manufacturing sector doing well there, they've gone. So it affects productivity because your best hands are leaving. And that leads to brain drain. Because where you should have the experts handling things, they've gone. So those that are left are the ones competing for the few available space, and you may not get the best hand if the process of remuneration is not too clear, it's ambiguous. So at the end of the day, people will leave, and what we have are those who feel that okay, let's continue to manage what we have in the country.
We shouldn't be managing.
So we
shouldn't be managing. That's not what we should be doing. This is a big country. So.
Yes, we should. Unfortunately, the system doesn't allow best hands, best brains to stay behind. The system doesn't allow that, because you cannot keep the best hands when the environment is not conducive for them. That is the environment to practice. When the process of remuneration is ambiguous, I mean, they will not stay. So we have to look at we have to look at our educational system. Is there any link between the schools, our schools, and the labor market? Is there any link between that? Then we also have to look at the environment, the operating environment. There are many Nigerians that want to establish businesses here, manage their business here, and do well. But when the regulatory environment is driving, the system, so just have to leave.
So speaking about this migration, some people argue that migration can reduce pressure on local labor markets. Do you agree with this?
Yeah, it will reduce the pressure, but it's in the long run, it's not the solution. Because at the end of the day, you are producing more. Don't forget, we have a very high number of people who are unemployed.
Yes.
So if a few migrate, it will reduce the pressure. However, in the long run, you cannot sustain it, because we keep to give birth to the young ones. They are coming up, going to school, graduate, learning one or two things, come back to the labor market, and how many people are leaving compared to those that are staying behind? So the labor market is not as huge as it should be that can accommodate the number that we have. So at the end of the day, you have more workforce. The people within the age of the workforce, but few available jobs are there. So we can't sustain that. It will reduce the pressure, but it's not sustainable. It's not the best way to address issue of unemployment and unemployment. The best way to address the issue of unemployment and unemployment is to create space for businesses to grow. And that is one of the pillars of decent work, sustainability of the enterprise. The business must be established, the business must grow, that's when you can now employ. But when the business, when you are striving the space, the business space, companies will shut down. And when companies shut down, then you have job loss.
More job loss, which is actually very.
So we need to look into that.
So what sectors of this, African economy are most affected?
Healthcare.
Healthcare for sure. Healthcare for sure, because we barely even have doctors in Nigeria now, and it's really sad.
Engineering. Engineering sector is also badly affected. If you look at the digital space, you go to banks today, how many ICT guys do we have there? They've left. So the ICT sector, the digital space, is badly affected, even the manufacturing sector. What we have just those who are not too essential, not too core to the business. They are available. If you talk about the experts, the professionals, the ends that should mount this place, and this has been unfortunate. So STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths, those sectors are badly affected. And that's why we have more, of course, everywhere across the globe, it's the informal sector that drives the economic growth. But in our own case, yes, the informal sector is getting bigger, but the formal sector needs to get bigger as well. Because the formal sector is regulated compared to the informal sector.
That makes sense. So how does this irregular migration impact youth development and the future workforce of African countries? I think you said it earlier, but let's go into it down.
Yes, but when you have your youth who are best, they are at their productive age. In the stage we have, myself. So we are at the productive age. So when we leave, what do we have left? So it will definitely affect, because like in most European countries now, in most Asian countries, the global north, they have a serious challenge of aging. Their people are getting aged. They are not giving birth, so they are looking towards Africa that have the young population that they can come over and work. So when that is happening, then back home in Africa, what we have is brain drain. The productivity will be low.
Very low.
Our economy will shrink. Because when the productivity is low, the economy cannot expand. Then the unemployment will increase. Then unemployment also increase. Because we have people who are engaged, but what they are paid doesn't commensurate what they are being paid. It doesn't commensurate with the service. So that will continue until we get to the root of the problem.
Is that the youth thing is actually really bad, because I remember being at the airport one of those days, and I just got off a flight and we're trying to do the whole process thing, and the queue was very long. Imagine getting off a 20-hour flight and you get, and then the queue is so long, everywhere was hot and everything, and then only for me to get to the front and discover it's just two old men attending to everywhere. Super cold, but in a desk that is supposed to be occupied by like 6 people, it was just 2 people attending to everyone, and it felt like these people they should be at home sleeping. Like these people are too old to be sitting out here right now. By this time, it was as of 10 p.m. late at night. So they should be at home sleeping, but they were there, and it was slow.
That's one of the challenges, most youths are not interested in 5 to 4 job. I mean, 8 to 4.
9 to 5. Classic 9 to 5.
So, very young ones are no longer interested.
But don't you feel like
it's because of underemployment? Because
Yes.
they feel that they are wasting away their time, they are wasting away their talent, their skills. Because you sit there from 8 to maybe 4, 8 to 5, or 9 to 5, and at the end of the day, you barely can show anything for it. So they are not interested in taking up those jobs, even when they are available. So that's why I said it's important that we look at our compensation mechanism. How do we remunerate? What are the mechanisms for the process for remuneration? When those old ones, they are comfortable with it, they barely high, I mean, him higher like the young chaps that still believe that they have the world at their feet, they want to explore. So that's exactly the challenge, and that's what we have when you have the young ones leaving the country. So they'll be left with the old ones.
But you see, young ones actually have a reason for not wanting to get involved in this 9 to 5, because it's just going on. The youths are lazy, they don't want to work, they just want to sit and make quick money. But here's the thing, there's a thing going out there that 9 to 5 can't really give you a financial free life. Given the fact that there are a lot of expenses and a lot of bills that need to get paid, and having to go to work 9 to 5 is something that is just guaranteed at the end of the month and get paid. And this money we're talking about is not so much, compared to having a skill, providing a service or selling products to people, you get your money real quick, But that whole classic, youth does not want to work, they are very lazy, what should they on that?
It's not because youth doesn't want to work, but because the work environment itself sometimes is toxic. So when the environment is toxic, they don't want to work there. Then when they look at how much you want to pay them, and they're not really seeing progression process, they're not really seeing how they can progress while at work, they won't take up such job. And that's really what's happening now. When we talk about the Gen Zs and all that, I don't know what we talk about the Gen Alpha.
It looks like they are picking up something. I know that for sure.
So it's not because they don't want to work. When they see the prospect, they take up those jobs. I mean, some of us are still here. We have not left.
Yes, no.
So you take up those jobs. You just need to look at them. The way we remunerate them. You have to look at career progression. If they see that there's future in this place, they will stay.
Yeah, definitely. I just feel like I agree with you. I just feel like sometimes these people don't want to work, the youths don't want to work in a workspace that has like a lot of older people and this little bit of, so
They
things
like to
going
do
on in
their
the
things their
office,
way.
yes, and they don't like to be pressured, things like that.
And that is the reasons, one of the reasons most employers are flexible now. Because we've realized that there's need to accommodate the Gen Zs. So we are being flexible. Flexibility in terms of the work hours. Because now there are many companies that doesn't do 8 to 4 Monday to Friday.
Yeah, as long as you get the job done.
As long as you get the job done. I know so many of our member companies who just go to the office twice in a week. They go on Monday, they go on Thursday, just pick 2 days. Other days work from home. So things like that are bringing in the Gen Zs because they have the freedom to do other things. Gen Zs likes to explore.
Yes. I think Gen Z candidates is right here.
So you like to explore, and that gives you freedom to do other things.
Other things, yes.
You just look at your task for the day, do your task.
And it helps with exposure because the more they are more exposed to other things, when you have conversations with people, ideas pop in.
Absolutely.
Compared to when you're contained in one place and you're just doing the same thing over.
Exactly.
So it wouldn't even have
Even in terms of dressing, before now, you put on your suit, put on your ties, you just want to appear formal, on and off season. Not appear formal. But today, that is also changing.
Yes.
There are companies that they have the days they wear cultural attire, corporate cultural attire, and the the mode of work again is also changing from manner. It's being digitalized. So those things are also means to encourage the Gen Zs to come into the fold.
So what role should the private sector play in reducing the economic pressures and push people towards irregular migration?
That's precisely one of the things that organizations like EPIAN, Employers Association for Private Employment Agencies in Nigeria, that's one of the things we are doing. One, we advocate on behalf of both the employers and the job seekers, and to provide platform for job seekers to come in, ask questions, look at opportunities that are available, counsel them, provide internship programs, skilling and reskilling. So a whole lot that we are doing in that space. I know many of our member companies who provide internship programs for job seekers. Many are matching, where there are available vacancies. They also train some job seekers on how to draft CV. So all these soft skills that were either not there. When you graduate as a young child, you just want to explore, although you may lack those soft skills. So we are building them to have those soft skills so that they will not only be useful here, anywhere they find themselves, those skills are important. They are transferable. They can also transfer to their colleagues, to their friends, and their contemporaries. Beyond that, we also engage in job fair, where we bring in the last one we had, one of your colleagues was there. Oh, you were there.
Oh, I was there. Okay. That was there. Yes.
So we had that program. It was organized by the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, the umbrella body for private sector in Nigeria, and then other bodies like EPIAN also participated. So we are providing platforms like that to connect, to match job seekers and employers. I'm sure you enjoyed the sessions.
I did. I had an amazing time. There was a lot to peek from there. Like, wow, this is actually really nice.
Those are some of the things that the private sector is doing. And again, we are also sensitizing the public, especially the young ones, on the dangers of irregular migration. You were talking about your experience at the airport. You need to go to other borders, the land borders, our seas, and see how Nigerians, especially the young ones, are leaving the country in droves. The airport is a regulated space. If you can have such a number at the airport, imagine what we have at land borders.
Yes.
So it's that bad. So that is why we are encouraging them. Like EPIAN is doing a lot on the media space, both the traditional media and the social media to enlighten the public on the dangers of patronizing unlicensed recruiters. We have a lot of unlicensed recruiters. They are not registered, they are not licensed, so they can do anything because nobody's watching them. Unlike we that we have the license, we are registered with the government, our license can be withdrawn, our license can be, we can be suspended. We can even be arrested and tried for human trafficking or labor issue that has element of criminality. So, but those ones, nothing. So that's what we're encouraging and enlightening the public not to patronize unlicensed recruiters. If you want to know whether a company, a recruiter is licensed or not, you can go to Federal Bureau of Labor and Employment and inquire about such company. Of course, they will tell you they have the vacancies, a lot of promises, and all, but at the end of the day, they're all lies. So they can go to Federal Bureau of Labor and Employment. In all the 36 states of the Federation, you have Federal Bureau of Labor and Employment Office. And again, you have the NELEX portal, that's the National Electronic Labor Exchange Platform. You can Google it, go to the website, check out the licensed private employment agency that is outsourcing firms. Again, you can also come to our office. You can go to our website www.epan.org. You can call our phone numbers to check whether a company is licensed or not, whether it is genuine or not. We'll give you those information. And that's exactly part of what
we're doing right now. Amazing. So what would you say there are a couple of challenges that affects this prevention of irregular migration?
Yes, the regulatory framework. Government needs to look at the process of obtaining the recruiter's license. If people can't get it right, we will be long.
Yes.
When people can move regularly, they will move regularly. People will always move because migration is part of human from time immemorial. So people will always move, but how do they move? So if the process is too cumbersome, you will take the alternative. People will always move. Even as we are here speaking, people are moving.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
So we need to continue to collaborate with the government, private sector, stakeholders, even the media, to continue to collaborate and sensitize people on the dangers of irregular migration. There are a lot of dangers in irregular migration. Forced labor, wage theft, risk to life, human trafficking, and so on and so forth. So there are a whole lot of dangers, and so we need to continue to collaborate, to work together, even at the exit ports. We need to work together with the Nigerian Immigration Service, with NAPTIP, and other stakeholders within that space. We need to continue to collaborate together to ensure that whoever is living in the country through our borders are documented. We want to know who you are, where you are going to, who recruited you, where's your offer letter, do you have the NAPTIP clearance? Because for every Nigerian that wants to travel on work visa and deployed by private employment agency, we are expected to have a NAPTIP clearance from the NAPTIP, and of course, certificate from the Federal to ascertain that okay, we are aware that this person is living in the country for this business, basically for job.
Now let's talk about the technology advancement, innovation. There's not a lot of digital things going on. What would you say in relation to how technology is affecting and how it will affect, irregular migration?
Everything that has merit has its demerit. Technology has improved the process of recruitment and management of workforce, but it has also created another challenge.
Yes.
And the challenge is anyone can go out there, put out fake vacancies, fake addresses, and continue to recruit people online. That's a very big challenge. When the space is not regulated as such. So you can just create a fake account and start recruiting people for different reasons. Trafficking, aside human trafficking, look at the other abuses that happens within the legal system. Again. So, but it has helped for us because if you go online now, you see so many companies having their websites there, putting up their vacancies, which is good. And that is why, for instance, if you go to epan.org now, you see our member companies, you can go to their websites and you see vacancies there. So you are sure of what you are doing. But then we also, again, we have the fake ones who are also online. Sometimes they do very genuine, but they are fake. And if any company, any recruiting firm asks you to pay for any service, it's a red flag. Because we subscribe to no fee charge to job seekers, to workers. So whatever fee, recruitment fee you have to charge, it is to be charged to the employer.
Employer.
Yes, not to job seekers. So So if any company asks you to pay anything up front, or any company asks you to sign an agreement that a certain percentage you will get from your salary at the end of the month, maybe for 6 months or 3 months or for 1 year, they are red flags. They are definitely not licensed.
You heard that, our audience. They are red flags. So if you see any company telling you to pay because you're trying to get a job, just run. Don't walk. Run away from them. Finally, what practical steps can government, employers, educational institutions, and young people take to transform migration from a crisis into an opportunity for economic development?
Migration ordinarily should benefit both the sending country and receiving country. That is, country of origin and that of the destination. It should be beneficial to both. Because when we migrate, we are contributing to the economy of the country of origin. And of course, at the same time, we are contributing to the economy of the country of origin because we are bringing in remittances, which improves the economy of your country. So, it's both ways, but then it's also both, it has its benefits and its demerits. So what we can do is, first and foremost, look at our laws. Our laws are outdated, especially the legal laws. They are outdated. We still have laws that was enacted as far back as 70s, and we still use them today. 80s, 90s, we still use them today. So our laws are obsolete, so we need to look at our laws, review them to accommodate the current realities. So we need to look at our policies. We have a lot of policies, labor migration policy, national policy on labor migration. We have the social partner advisory committee on labor migration management in Nigeria. We have the National Employment Council. So many committees, councils, and even the NLAC, National Labor Advisory Council. So all of them need to work together. Have a policy that addresses the current realities within the labor migration space. Make it easier for people to travel,
Yes.
Make it easier for them to travel regularly, documented. Because at the end of the day, when they travel regularly, they get there, they can't find a job. So what they do at the end of the day is to look for menial jobs that will pay them less. They work many hours and they will be paid for those additional hours.
Sometimes they even go overboard.
They can't complain. They can't complain. They can't, because when you complain, they throw you out of their country. They deport you straight away. So you just want to manage what you have. So all of us, the government, the private sector, all the stakeholders within the migration cycle, and even the media, we need to continue to promote decent work agenda. The government need to broaden the space, the economic space, for more investment. Because when you have more investment in the economy, there is space for more jobs. Because we create more jobs. As far as the business is sustained, jobs will be created. So collaboration cannot be by our side. We need to continue to collaborate to promote good governance in labor migration.
Oh, that was amazing, Mr. Olajide. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your wonderful insight. I hope our listeners are able to pick one or two from this interview, because I was able to pick a lot myself. Today's discussion has highlighted the complex relationship between irregular migration and the realities of African labor markets. While migration continues to be driven by the search for better economic opportunities, the conversation has underscored the need to address the underlying challenges of broader structural constraints affecting labor markets across the continent. We have also examined the economic consequences of irregular migration, including its impact on workforce availability, productivity, human capital development, wage structures, and long-term economic growth. At the same time, the discussion acknowledged the important role of remittance, labor mobility, and regional cooperation in supporting economic development when poorly managed. As African countries pursue sustainable growth and inclusive development, strengthening labor market institutions, expanding employment opportunities, investing in skills development, and promoting safe regular migration pathways will be critical to ensuring that migration contributes positively to both national and continental development objectives. If you're just joining us, you can catch up highlights of this conversation on our social media. We are Trade FM Live across all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube channel. Thank you for staying tuned to Trade FM. Stay informed, stay ahead. I have been your host,